Mr. Conte dropped some knowledge on the Boxing Voice. I do a few videos on this. He talked about Conor Benn situation and, you know, why, you know, a lot of like Ward and Floyd Mayweather and Andre and Roy Jones didn't kind of go over there, and why. And he talked about the difference between UKAD. That's what I mean when I'm talking about them not going over there. Conor Benn, WADA, and VADA. And he also kind of spoke on like you know, Deontay Wilder, Matchroom, you know, PBC. So I'm kind of just remember what I can from it, because I listened to half, like an hour on Friday, and then Monday I came and listened to the rest of the 40 plus minutes. But yeah, check the Boxing News Boxing Room playlist out. So he started talking about Conor being first and his case, right? His timeline was a little bit off about the case. He said 14 months. It's probably been what, maybe 8-9 months at the most. But he says that, you know, Conor Benn said when he drug tested for UKAD, he don't pop hot. He says, and he gets into the history about VADA too. But he says the UKAD and WADA and USADA, they don't test for everything. He says VADA pretty much almost tests for everything. There was only one substance that he mentioned that they don't test for, but he said they don't test for everything. So he said, you know, the in and out of competition is bullshit. And, you know, he said that's why Conor Benn got popped. He said that he joined the VADA program, whatever. And I think he said, like, out of the 15 fighters or whatever, they picked, you know, fighters at random. You know, he said a 365 program ain't what y'all think it is or what we think it is. But he says, like, every so many months, you know, they pick fighters at random. And it so happened to be, I'm paraphrasing, Conor Benn got picked at random and popped hot. Now, he also said the whole the egg thing. He said he put that story out, and they seen him put the story out, and they ran with the egg thing, and he, you know, disbanded that. He revealed that, like, it was put out there that Conor Benn had spent $500,000 on lawyer fees. He said that was a big mistake. He getting bad advice, that he should have just said, well, I don't know where this came from. I made a mistake. And would have got slapped, and then he would have, you know, his suspension would have been backdated, and he would have been back by now. He said he mishandled the whole situation. And he, you know, apparently Nevada in California said they wouldn't commission him or commission this fight. UK wouldn't commission this fight. So no rematch with Chris Eubanks, even though he going with Liam Smith, and no Manny Pacquiao fight. So he basically said that the reason why he popped hot in VADA is because VADA tests for more stuff than USADA and, well, the UKAD. And the UKAD don't test for everything. They got in and out of competition. He said the same thing with Billy Joe Saunders, in and out of competition. And he said that's why he knew Billy Joe Saunders was fishy, you know, when he sent him fight in the UK. And the first test that Billy Joe Saunders took with VADA, he popped hot for the Demetrius Andrade fight. So he's saying the UK had the in and out of competition. He said they don't know what they testing for, but they don't test for everything. You know, he said they do not simply test for everything over there. WADA, USADA, all of them, he said they do not test for everything. So he also said WADA's the only one, the PBC fighters that you see that, I'm going to talk about this in another video, that announced when he take drug tests and stuff. And I want to say, he said the last fighter that VADA, outside of WADA, he said something about the last fighter that VADA kind of announced from PBC. I can't remember who it was. Oh, man, I can't remember who it was. I think it was outside of WADA, but I'll say that for another video. But yeah, he talked about the differences between VADA, WADA, USADA, and UK. And he said basically VADA, you know, he has no affiliation with VADA. He not with VADA, but he sponsored fighters to be with VADA. But he says the difference is that VADA is stricter. They test for more things. Simple as that. And he says that they doing, you know, real 365 testing. He said they doing that, you know, for $15,000 now. I want to say he said 2 tests every 3 or 4 months. They use 2 tests, 2 random tests. And he said he was talking to Terrence Crawford and somebody else about, you know, about doing it, and it's 15 grand, you know, for like, I think it's like 6 or 8 or somewhere between 6 and 10 random VADA tests a year for it to be truly 365. He said only 15 grand, but then again, it depends on where you're training at and how far they got to travel, what expenses put on there. But, you know, he basically said that that the difference is VADA is stricter. He also said that PBC got a gag order on VADA not to announce, what's going on. He kind of said that the commission kind of got a stake in it as well. He said the commission got 8% of the Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia gate. So, so the commission, he basically saying the commission got something to gain too if these fights get canceled. And he said a lot of people, a lot of these guys don't want to fuck with VADA or do random drug tests or let it know and be known who popped hot or not, because it's a lot of business behind that. It's a lot of money behind that. And he says, now when he revealed that the commission got something to gain from it, think about that for a minute. The commission got something to gain from it. So the commission getting 8% of the gate for, I forgot how many millions he said it was for Ryan and Gervonta Davis. If they take 8% of the commission, the gate. So let's say I'm just going like one of the fighter B test positive and all that millions gone from the gate. The commission lose out, the promoter lose out, the other fighter who was clean lose out. So yeah, man. So he says that, in a lot of cases, a lot of the fighters are not being tested in PBC. And I remember the last fight he said that a PBC fighter was announced announced on VADA. It was Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. I want to say 2. He said the only reason why that was announced on VADA website and Twitter or whatever it was because Fury and ESPN was the A side in that situation. So they had to release it. Because remember when Sean went to Top Rank, they didn't announce it neither. When Sean fought Terrence Crawford on Top Rank, Dave VADA was not announced, I don't believe, on Twitter or the website, and I could be wrong. So, but yeah, man, he gets in, he basically, kind of like tell you the differences and stuff, and that's why in the UK they allowed to use certain stimulants while training, but they can't use them in competition. So he talks about the commission test. He said all the commissions don't administer the test. I think he said Nevada or California, they might send out for one piss test, which is nothing. He said there's a lot of times the commissions don't even be taking piss no more. So he basically said, everybody got to know basically the reason why they don't want to test is because of money. The reason why the best ain't fighting the best is because of money. You hear what Leonard Ellaby and Floyd say, we don't want to make another promoter rich. Money is the root problem in the sport of boxing right now. See, money over morals and integrity. And when you playing with that many millions, I'm pretty sure it's like, okay, if fighter A pop hot, we're gonna give him we're gonna give you an extra $100,000. What are you gonna say? I'm gonna lose out on a career high payday and $100,000 by going to the press and saying, well, I don't want to fight him? Think about that for a minute. So, it is what it is, man. And he kind of just, went in about the Lamont Peterson case and said that Lamont Peterson, when he got popped, I think popped versus Amir Khan, they stripped him of the IBF and they allowed him to keep the WBA, I believe it was, or it was the other way around. And he said Lamont Peterson, they put these allegedly put these testosterone pellets in his ass because he had loads of testosterone. But Victor Conte saying that Lamont Peterson, his doctor didn't go through the proper precautions. His doctor didn't go through the proper precautions. They cut this grass every day, bro. But he said his doctor didn't go through the proper precautions. He said had he waited 5 days and, his testosterone would have went right up. So he basically said he had a doctor's note that gave him the green light to do something. And, and when you do stuff like that, VADA asks you that when you register the papers. Are you taking this? Are you taking that? He went into Luis Ortiz Wilder 1 case. Said Luis Ortiz said you had to take these blood pressure medication and, and all this other shit that was going on. So, but long story short, he basically saying, he told the history about VADA and how it started, and the commissioner, one of the dudes from VADA started from the Nevada staff. It was a very, very good interview. And he talked about, EPOs and Horf being very dangerous, probably being the most dangerous ones, and stuff that's not detected, and why, VADA's the gold standard, and USADA, WADA, UKAD, they don't know what they testing for. He said Matchroom had a new testing agency that the NFL and Major League Baseball use, and he kind of skeptical there too because he don't know their history. But yeah, he was talking about how PBC don't announce their drug tests. And he explained it why. And a lot of other people probably keeping shit on the wraps too. You know, if you had a record gate, I believe, for Tank and Ryan Garcia, and the commission get 8% of that. Come on. So he revealed that's why they not letting people know who pop hot and who don't. So you think a guy like Al Heyman, who don't like people slandering PBC name, so it surprised everybody that he got a gag order about who pop hot and who don't pop hot. And then he said a lot of times them dudes ain't testing. He said that he had several fighters on the Tank Davis and Hector Luis Garcia card that was not being tested. He said Demetrius Andrade, he said he was not being tested. He said Rashidi Ellis and Roman Villa, he said Villa looked kind of suspicious to him too. He said they did not get tested. He said, I think only Tank and Hector Luis Garcia was tested in that fight. But he said he had several, I think it might be a fighter, other two fighters on there that he said that simply were not tested. They were not tested. That's what he said. He said they were not tested. He said they were not tested. So, he also, for bonus, talked about Pacquiao and Mayweather situation. I'm going to talk about Pacquiao in another video. He basically got into the Mayweather situation about Mayweather being able to get an IV. And, and he basically said that Mayweather and Pacquiao paid an extra $100,000 for testing with USADA. And I obviously told you, he said USADA ain't solid. He said, they don't test for everything. And Floyd Mayweather allegedly got this medical therapeutic exemption and to get this legendary IV and shit. And he said kind of went into why he wasn't a fan of the IVs and all that stuff, man. But kind of beat around the bush a little bit about Floyd Mayweather. He's a little bit direct about Manny Pacquiao, but he kind of beat around the bush about Mayweather. He basically said he wasn't a fan of the IVs and didn't think they did much, and it's better to do the oral option with the IVs or whatever. But kind of went into it, and he said the one thing that was skeptical about Mayweather and Pacquiao is why they paid the extra $100,000 or whatever it was for drug testing. Like, that's very skeptical. And that's basically said that maybe it was for extensive drug testing, but he was trying to hint at that he paid the extra money for them to keep the results on the wrap. So I don't know, but hey, it is what it is, man. Let me know what you girls and guys think, man. I have some more videos coming about this fight. One more. It'll be revolving around Manny Pacquiao, Al Heyman. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the Box Rumor playlist, Boxing News playlist. Hit the link tree, find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TikTok, the whole nine. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.